if it was illegal to say stupid things into a microphone.
Why must you be so stupid?
These guys would be doing life without parole.
Hey, everybody, we're back from prison.
Why do we keep encouraging this kind of behavior? It's the Breaking the Ice podcast with Josh Dolan.
You know, we could, go to jail for this.
Along with Mike Shue and Isaiah Moskahana Mana Blitz Moskowitz, whatever the hell his name is.
What up?
Oh, we got Russ.
Russ, are you driving?
Yeah, I am.
No, he's being driven.
Don't fucking crash, dude.
Don't touch those earbuds. It's hands-free.
Yeah, I have a situation, Russ. I mean, I know we're starting the show. My cat just took the biggest shit on the planet. I have got to scoop that out of the box. I can't even sit here for an hour. It smells like hell.
You're dismissed.
I just got I can't. I got to wow. Cat's name is Cheddar and he shits like a fucking lion.
Cheddar's There's gotta be a rhyme there.
Yeah.
Cheddar's Vetter. Took an Eddie Vetter. I don't know.
Here comes Luke. Luke is
What's up, Josh?
Luke is OSHA approved right now.
He looks like it. He's ready to go. Signal some cars around some potholes.
This is what a working man looks like, Mike. All right.
I know. I hear you, brother. You lock it up 7 years. You go to work at night. Got no time for living, man. You're working all the time. Seems to me I can live my life a lot better than I think I am. They call Luke the working man.
They do call me the working man. Hell yeah.
That's right. Oh, Jesus.
Was that Fleetwood Mac?
No, but Luke is drinking like he listens to Fleetwood Mac. And not like the Lindsey Buckingham.
Okay,
Fleetwood
first of
Mac.
all, I do listen to Fleetwood Mac.
With those two guys they used to replace Lindsey Buckingham.
Whatever. This is all going way over Josh's head, Mike. Why are you doing that?
I don't know.
You listen to Fleetwood Mac on a skateboard? It's not going over my head. I brought them up.
Hey, Josh. How are you, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, what's up, Josh?
What's up, Russ?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, too. I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in forever.
It's been a while.
It's been
a Cheddar's bowel movement of a minute.
That's a very long time. But sorry we had to bump you guys a little bit for 4 years strong, but we had a meeting, so.
No,
you guys have meetings?
Yeah, it was our first meeting, and then
actually,
it went a little late, and Luke was texting me. He's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I got a date with the lady, so I know, right?
Yeah. You should just keep the camera going through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we're going ice skating, so
that's that's really like whimsical.
Yeah, man. Pretty whimsical.
You seem very excited about it.
Well, I just looked at my bank account not long ago, so I'm not in the best mood.
Is that a big number or a small number?
Skate rentals are like
how big was your cat's turd, Isaiah?
Oh, dude. What the fuck? Dude, Luke, you weren't on yet, and I apologize. Like, we were just talking to somebody else, and we start the show. I'm like, dude, my cat just took a fucking Stanley steamer, and I have to clean it out. I can't sit here for an hour talking to someone with that. That is
Russ.
Well, my bank account is probably smaller than your cat's turd.
Than Cheddar's shit.
It's probably bigger than mine, though, Russ. See, you just got to take my seminar on how to avoid feeling like that. You don't check it. You don't open mail. And then, that's...
So
service.
you ignore everything.
All right.
Out of sight, out of mind,
Let's stop talking about cat shit and bank accounts and get to the real reason we're here. The only thing that could ever unite these two podcasts.
Sorry, I got to...
Wow. Oh, God. Did we lose Russ?
His bank just called him and said, your Zoom account's gone.
They just shut his phone off.
Russ's connection is as good as Neil Young's music career right now.
Yes, the only reason these two podcasts would unite was because of the Neil Young story, right?
The Neil Young and Joe Rogan
Neil Young, Joe Rogan.
And I just said to Mike before we started, I said, well, Neil Young basically canceled himself, and Mike doesn't think so.
I don't think so.
Good.
I don't think so.
You can't cancel Neil Young.
This is
Joe Rogan.
He's too well established. Neil's Neil's one, people are like, well, Spotify kicked Neil Young off.
No, he has to be taken off.
Yeah. He had to go to his record company and tell them to take his music off.
And they said, we're on Spotify?
60% of his streaming revenue comes from Spotify. So Neil's taking a hit on this. In that sense, he's losing. But at the same time,
huge press.
One, he's got his own streaming service, Neil Young Archives, which has high resolution sound, which is something that he feels very strongly about. And he's probably happy that this is a full-on excuse to get off of Spotify, to expose Spotify for their audio quality, which he claims only gives you 5% of the music.
Really?
Let me just say this first above everything else. Spotify is the real enemy in this whole thing, because Spotify treats their artists worse than any other platform.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, like, we need it. Unfortunately, that's just the way that the world is. But like, I saw someone posted that was like, oh, so Neil, Spotify chose the Joe Rogan thing over Neil, which means they sent him his last check for $1.61.
Right, exactly.
Because pretty much that's like what you'd make, even if you're on like a Neil level. Obviously, it's exaggeration, but
unless you're Taylor Swift,
right?
And at that level, you can negotiate for higher pay. Because she needs God. I don't know how she lives with what she has. Good thing she's got that Spotify money coming in.
Poverty.
Does she get the money, or does Scooter Braun get it?
Let me try to make a few points on how I feel. I agree with Shu. One, because this is consistent with Neil anyway. I mean, he's going to do whatever the fuck he wants to do. And he always uses his platform to talk about what he believes. And I don't think it's not necessarily that he's trying to cancel Joe Rogan. It's just that again, it is a good press move, because now everyone's fucking talking about it.
It's a great press move.
It's a great press move because also all the people who are annoyed by Joe Rogan, which you have to remember, yes, he has the #1 podcast in the world and has a huge platform, but there's still a whole other percentage of the world and the country who are really annoyed by him right now. So to them, this is a way of, for Neil, this is a way of being like, well, hey, if you are as annoyed with Joe as I am, then say fuck you to Joe and to Spotify, and like, get out of there. So it's another way of him trying to get done the things he wants to get done. Also, I used to like Joe Rogan. I'm not a huge fan. I've never been like a huge fan anyway. And then every fucking podcast, I don't care who his guest is, he always talks about MMA, which drives me fucking nuts, because he'll have like really great guest on.
But he makes one
so
of his
much money from fucking White. It's crazy.
Well,
that's what annoys.
Passions.
I know.
I mean, that's what a podcast is for.
That's fine. Yeah,
I thought you were going to go down a different.
We talk about Neil Young and The Sopranos for 2 hours.
Yes.
And how they're connected.
I thought you were going to go down the road of like every podcast he starts talking about, current situations, which that is a bit annoying, because I do like his show when he just talks to people. But if it always has to skew over to the fucking pandemic and vaccines and right or left, I'm fucking tired of hearing about that shit, man.
Yeah, I think everyone is. And exactly, I agree. And the thing that is a bit of an annoyance, and again, you can do whatever the fuck you want. That's kind of the whole thing.
He's got 10 million fucking downloads every time he farts.
Well, so here's the thing, Isaiah, that's a great point, because I don't know if you guys know who Shane Moss is, but he's this really, really smart guy. He's a comedian, and he has a great podcast called Here We Are. And he used to be on Joe all the time. And he's really annoyed by Joe right now too, because the thing that Joe always says is when he gets when he gets shit from everyone about all his like misinformation or whatever, the guests he has on or whatever, he always says like, well, don't listen to me. I'm just a comic. Why are you listening to me? You don't have to listen to me. I'm a comic. But then at the same time, he's well aware that he has the #1 podcast in the world, and he constantly tells people to listen to his podcast. He's constantly selling ad spots for $1 million corporations that he has stock in. He's not any different from. And he's not. One more thing, just because I know I'm going to run out of time, and I want to try to
because your bank account's at $1.
Yes, exactly. And none of that was from Spotify. But the other thing I wanted to say was that the way Shane, because Shane knew, because he's been on Joe many times, the way that Joe's podcast works is he always wants to have like a fringe. If you're like any kind of whatever field you're in, Joe will only have you on if you're like in the fringe aspect of that field. So
Really?
like if you're so if you're like an archaeologist, he's not just going to let a archaeologist on. You have to prove that you're an archaeologist that like only digs for alien bones. Like that's the type of like. So
Right.
Those are the ones that you want to have on, though. The weird ones, like you're digging for
Yeah,
fucking
I agree,
ET
because-
somewhere.
And that's where Joe's podcast, like that's why people like it, because it's he's a curious mind, whatever. But when it comes to the, like you were saying, Isaiah, these like political left right things, he's only now letting on fringe medical people. So they're not like, so they are getting on because they know, how do we get on Joe's podcast? Well,
Are they the only ones that will go on?
I think it's more.
It's the only ones that Joe will let on.
Now, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yes,
I think Josh
he
is onto
caters-
something.
No. Listen to Shane. Luke, I'll send you the link to Shane's podcast.
I was listening
He
to
talks
an
about it.
episode of Rogan the other day, and they said, "Would you have Fauci on?" And he said, "In a heartbeat." He'll have people on. It's just I don't think people will go on Rogan because of his reputation.
See, people should though. That's a fuck up on
Well, I think
Fauci
that-
or whoever.
yeah.
They should go on there because those are the things that will help. Again, whether it's 10 million downloads per whatever, put the A and the B on, the black, the white, the tall, the short, and talk about
When
shit.
the A has CNN and all the mainstream media, and they have all that backing them, the fringe guys, Joe Rogan's kind of the only guy that's given them a voice. Where it's like, yeah, he said he would have Fauci on. He said he would have any of the presidential candidates come on, but Bernie Sanders was the only one that had a team that was, or he told the team like, no, I'm going to go have a conversation with him.
See, that's
But
a fuck up
everybody
on the
else-
people.
Hell yeah!
That's a fuck up on the people. They should
Because
absolutely.
Bernie's
Say, if I were
the best.
just go out, Bernie's the best.
Well, he had Tulsi Gabbard on too. So
Yes.
I think
Yeah,
it was
and then-
Bernie
And he
and
had,
Tulsi.
and he had
canceled her.
Yang. I think he had Yang on too.
But how would you not like do that? It's like Stern back in the day. Like if you don't go on the fucking show, and he's still massive, but go on it and say your piece.
But that's like Fauci probably would never go on Joe Rogan just because Joe Rogan isn't, CNN or like one of these major networks that's
Well,
going
that's
to
a
be
fuck
like,
up on him
give
then.
me the questions that you want to ask. Like that doctor that I sent you, Isaiah.
Yeah. What was his name?
Stephen A. McCullough.
I listened to that podcast. I listened to that whole fucking thing.
Yeah, and it's because he is like a lead in that field, but because he's not going, he's asking other questions like, how do we?
Yeah, but Josh, here's the thing: that those people, they're vaccinated.
Of
Those
course they
people are, and
He's not,
everyone
he's
in
not
Fox,
anti-vax though.
He's not
and everyone in
anti-vax.
Fox. I know, but Joe knows that like a lot of people aren't thinking that way. Most people aren't like.
But it
Well,
goes
they
the
don't
other
put-
way
they
too,
don't-
because
they
like
don't-
Neil Young knows a lot of people are like all roads lead to the vaccine, no matter what. And like I kind of,
Now that's a quote from that doctor. Be careful.
it is.
I know.
Which is a good point, but I think that's why Neil Young did this, was because he knew he could push that like that cult of like no matter what you got to get vaccinated. Like I was putting off getting vaccinated for the longest time because of medical reasons, but to a lot of those people, they
Because you
don't
have one
care.
lung.
That, and then also when I got the first shot, I got COVID after that. And my doctor was basically like, because of your lung and because you just had COVID and it's been 3 days since you tested negative, I want you to wait 3 to 6 months. But I didn't have that kind of time for the reason I needed the vaccine. And
Right.
but those people are like, no, you need the vac. It doesn't matter. Like they don't care about the health. It started out as like to help people, but now it's like they don't even care if it hurts you. Just get the vaccine so you can check the box. And
Yeah, I also
that's not anti-vax. What they're
no, yeah.
it's more like don't like if I'm saying I don't want to take it for medical reasons doesn't mean I'm a huge Trump supporter, but
Yeah, sure.
that's I think what
Well, the political
Young
bleeding,
was-
the political bleeding was embarrassing. It should never have fucking bled over the lines. But let's be serious. Everybody on this show here knows ratings equal dollars, and that's all they give a fuck about. What it doesn't matter what side you're on. Who
Yeah.
can yell the loudest? Who can make the most noise? Mike, how many years did we?
That's the fucking problem.
Right,
It's
right.
like you got people on the left and you got people on the right, and they're just fucking loudmouths. And then you got everybody in the middle, and they're drowning out everybody in the middle who are
they're
trying
just
to just like
migrating
get by.
to new things. Like
how
the-
many
Yeah, and
people-
also I don't don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that all roads lead to the vaccine, or I'm not saying anti-vax or whatever. I honestly don't give a fuck. I have the privilege of
I'm not saying
really
you're saying
giving
that.
a fuck.
I'm saying Joe Rogan.
No, I know. But, I think he understands that his platform is as big as it is, and he likes to, and I guess it's his right. He likes to stir that type of shit
He
up.
knows what he's fucking doing.
Yeah, of course he does.
He's trying to stir it up, or he's giving the voice.
No,
the voices.
no,
that are
I
being
don't think
shut
so.
down.
He's
Josh.
stirring it up. Everybody's
He's doing
stirring it
it
up that has
because
a platform
he knows,
that big.
and just because, and I think Neil's doing it for similar reasons. They're both doing it for their own sort of, although Neil has more of a history of like proving that he takes these sort of bold risks to
Also-
like try to get a message across. But
Also,
Joe
Neil's a
wants
polio
the
survivor.
platform. He wants the money, right? Yeah.
Say that again, Luke.
No, Neil's a polio survivor, so he's obviously super pro vaccine. Not that they're the same thing, but like I think
How
he's
old is
very,
Neil? 70s?
73.
Yeah, he's like 70.
So he's a polio survivor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and a lot of people talk about that, and they get into this again.
Imagine
the problem,
meeting someone that had polio.
Yeah.
It's like meeting that old lady from Titanic. Like, oh my god, no, but like, and Mike made a reaction to what I said. The fucking problem with all of this is, let's rewind the tape 30 years, 40 years, even before half of you were fucking born. There was one source of news. There was one conversation, and the rest of the day was doing your fucking job, sending your kids to school and doing your shit, right? And you'd watch the news at night. Now it is a 24-hour-a-day cycle of news and social.
I don't know if it's news or is it
whatever it is. It's
24
fucking
hours
noise.
of a narrative.
Well, it's noise on. I don't give a fat fuck who you like or whatever. Every channel is getting up in the morning going, okay, here's our agenda. We need these people to watch, so fucking do this. Reality.
Some of the questions that are being asked by professionals, like that Stephen A. McCullough, that he's the only one that I could sit through big words. Usually, too many big words start getting thrown out. I turn it off, and
he didn't make it through the podcast at all because he didn't understand half the words he was saying.
I listened to it twice and I took notes. But
Josh, how did you make it so far in radio?
He didn't.
I don't know.
I won a contest, dude. I don't even know.
He didn't. He was on ZLX. He was on AAF. They almost gave him a show, and then we sold AAF to Jesus. So
and I never applied for any of it. People just kept asking me to do stuff. I was just in the room when things happen.
But I was doing a podcast. So
Josh,
that's where he's at.
Josh, you listened to it twice, so you wasted 10 hours of your life.
Russ, we can't talk.
4.
Yeah, I know.
We're
listen
not.
to it.
But people like him, like where else are you going to hear the questions from an expert like that? Like an actual, everyone's like, believe the science and the
So if you
listen
so
to
you
him.
think that
Where
everybody
else? What do you mean?
So you
where
think
else
that-
can you hear from an
Everywhere,
expert like that?
anywhere.
There's so many
Anywhere.
sources.
because
So
he's
many
getting
sources.
all his videos where he's asking these questions are being taken down off social media, because if you're not going along with their narrative, they rip it right down.
Okay, well,
And
social media
CNN's
is not
not
the
going to
only.
have him on.
Social media is not the only place you can get your news.
right, correct. And he
Yeah,
had some
but
good
this is-
points.
You know what? People are like getting all bent out of shape that Neil Young was trying to cancel Joe Rogan, and
He's not.
and he's not. He's not at all. Nobody's
kidding.
Nobody was trying to cancel anybody, and
They were trying to get attention.
And Russ brought it up
Yeah.
to begin with. Joe Rogan says, "I'm a comic. Why are you listening to me?" or whatever, and that's exactly true.
Yep.
And so and also nobody's being forced to listen to Joe Rogan.
Nope.
Just like nobody's being forced to watch MSNBC or Fox News
Or Pornhub.
People are making that choice. All right. So don't, these people saying, "Oh, Neil Young's a communist," and he's trying to take this stuff down. No, it's Neil Young's not the problem. Neil Young won in this situation. He's off. He convinced his record company to get off of Spotify because he left Spotify a few years ago, and his record company made the decision to put his music back on there. He was never happy with being on Spotify.
he
He's
never
got his
wanted to
own
be there
streaming
anyway.
service. He's invested in
saw an
Amazon Music.
opportunity.
Let me finish. He's invested in Amazon Music. He's got a new investment in Kubo, this other high resolution streaming thing. So he's glad to be rid of Spotify.
Kubo.
All right? And then Spotify didn't kick him off of the platform. He left at a
Well, they
cost.
called this bluff.
Yeah, but Josh,
there
you-
was no bluffing. He
There
didn't
wasn't a bluff.
care.
There's no
Okay?
bluff. Yeah.
He didn't
didn't give a
care.
shit.
I
And
think he
just
wanted
left.
off.
The problem here is nobody's paying attention to what's really going on here,
Which is
the Surgeon General of the United States suggested removing Joe Rogan's podcast off of Spotify and is urging Spotify and the White House to take action to do that. Why isn't anyone talking about that? Instead, we're
This is the
concentrating
first
on
I've heard of that.
Instead, we're
Really?
concentrating on
No,
fucking.
I knew about that. Yeah,
the news
there's
has
been, like,
the news has been
there's
around for
been-
2 days.
Yeah. There's
As,
like
as
a
Joe
whole-
Rogan, as Joe Rogan would say, fucking look it up. Nobody does though.
Well,
Nobody
and
looks up
yeah.
this shit. They just look at the headline and they judge from there, and nobody reads the fucking articles.
But
All
like,
right.
I also don't like
This is
pretending that
such a useless conversation because nobody's forcing anyone to have Spotify. You don't have to have Spotify. You don't have to have social media. You don't have to listen to Joe Rogan, and you don't have to listen to Neil Young. But when the government starts telling you what you should be listening to, that is what we should be paying attention to. This conversation between Neil Young and Joe Rogan is such bullshit. It's distracting bullshit, and it's making me think that Neil Young is working for the fucking government, that he made a deal with them to get his citizenship to distract them from the real conversation, to have a fucking Surgeon General of the United States urge our government to cancel somebody.
It is weird.
That is a dictatorship. That is fascism. That's bullshit.
well, stay on that energy. With all of the shit that's gone on over the past 2 fucking years. You talk about big government, you talk about control. It is a fucking problem on so many levels. I agree with everything you just said. And I'm also
it's
in a
getting
position.
real.
I was talking to Josh earlier. We all went through all we went through. We all did our thing. I ended up getting sick last week and all this fucking shit, blah, blah, blah. I'm through it. Okay. I'm sick and fucking tired of the government telling me what to do. I'm sick and fucking tired of you telling me what I can and can't fucking do when I did exactly what you told me to do, motherfucker. Right? Same thing. You're saying exactly that energy needs to be put into a bunch of fucking bullshit that's going on today. Yes or no? Really? You want the government telling you when you can come and go? What card you have to flash?
I didn't even have.
When did the government tell you when to come and go? Did this something?
Yeah, that's not
recently that
happening.
happened?
That's what
What do you mean
annoys
it's not
the shit out of
happening?
me.
Every time you walk into a gym, you got
can't
to
even
flash
go to-
a card now.
Yeah, you can't even go to Boston
you
unless
know
you're
what?
vaccinated.
Give me a fucking
that's
break,
a state
guys.
to state and town to town and
I get it. I
jurisdiction
get
to
it. I get it.
jurisdiction
I
thing.
do.
We're not
Trust
in a-
me.
we're
I
not
do.
in a
That's a
fucking-
local government thing.
But
Yeah.
I do it. But I'm saying,
Still the government.
is that not somebody telling you on some level what you have to do?
You've been doing that your whole
I
life.
Why
get that.
do you pay attention to traffic lights?
I do
Yeah,
all that.
you've been doing
Trust
the same
me.
shit.
Why do you pay your taxes?
I do it.
It's all the same shit. I
Trust
agree
me.
with you.
I have been 100% on everything.
I mean, pull a
both of you were
Kaczynski,
saying.
build a fucking shed in the middle of the woods and move out there.
But you're
Yeah.
no, you, but you're
You know,
but
if
you're
you don't
fucking,
like it, he did something about it. He went out and he got off the grid. Unfortunately, he
That-
lost
Mike,
his mind
Mike,
and he
Mike,
killed
Mike.
some people.
Mike, I honestly, I know you just used an extreme example, but that's how I feel about it. If people are so fed up because you're still in a country, no one's holding a gun to your head. Can
Of
you not
course.
go get a drink at certain bars? Yeah.
100%,
Oh well.
100%.
Order
To a
shit
different one.
online.
Okay, it's
Order
not holding
shit
a gun.
online,
It's not
and-
holding a gun to your
No,
head.
but
But what if
Josh,
it's
Josh,
twisting your arm?
This country was built on the worst shit you can imagine.
Oh, God,
and now
yeah.
all of us are benefiting from it. And yet we complain when some shit like this happens. Do I think it sucks? Of course. Of course it's annoying and all of it sucks and it's shitty. But
well, that's the point I'm making. I don't disagree with it, but I'm pissed about it. It just irritates me.
Of course it does. But this empire has lasted far too fucking long. And it's about time that we experience some fucking, again, like, except for everyone else in this conversation, except for Mike, has lived a pretty well privileged life based on, I'm not even trying to be like liberal or anything here. I'm just saying, like, we're all straight white men and we don't have to deal with a lot of the bullshit that every other minority and other things in this country has to deal with.
Shut up,
Oh,
Luke.
that's
And
racist.
yet-
I know,
sorry.
right?
Yeah,
You're
of
gonna
course
like
it is.
Luke.
Okay,
I'm
but
boxing
yes,
your balls.
those are
Questionable.
all good things. And
Oh, believe me, when this
But Mike,
podcast
but I
started,
wanna-
when this
I
podcast
wanna
started,
go
we
back
blamed
to-
COVID on Mike. Trust me, it's okay. We
no,
bust
but
his
like
nuts all.
I get what you're saying, Russ. But like, what about when it comes to a point where I literally have my doctor saying, "Don't get the vaccine. Like he was begging me not to get it, and basically to go work, I have to go get it. Or to what if I have a gig in Boston, I can't go work that gig because you need a vaccine card. So I rolled the dice. I didn't know what was going to happen.
I think what he's saying, Josh, is there are those extreme situations. I shouldn't say extreme, but and again, I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth. It irritates the fucking shit out of me, and I'm making a point to what Mike said.
I get what the country was founded on and everything, but my daughter needs diapers right now, so that's why I'm frustrated.
Because he can't work.
Use Amazon.
I told him to get a job at Amazon, but he won't.
Yeah, but he needs money to use Amazon.
So I'm
I'm talking about paying bills and buying that stuff. I like if I could get it all delivered to my door, then great. But what am I supposed to do for like? Basically, you're saying because I got to wear like putting a seatbelt on isn't affecting like whether I live or die. Like I'm glad nothing bad happened.
I mean, it is.
It is. See, this is what's good about these conversations here because everyone's got it's heated. The thing is, the whole thing's heated, and everyone's gotten frustrated.
Of course,
and Russ, I'll go back, dude. Everything you're saying, bro, totally fucking agree with. I'm only throwing out the side of
course, yeah.
I'm annoyed. I'm at a point where I'm like, Jesus Christ.
We all
I feel like I finished
and that's like Joe Rogan is saying what you're saying,
but I don't have 10 million fucking people following me. There is a responsibility
that goes with that.
No, there isn't. He does not have a responsibility to any of those 10 million people. He does not. And he never started out that way.
I agree.
He is not elected by the people.
What you said,
He's
Isaiah,
not
with
serving the people. He is doing this for money. This is his job, and he made a deal with Spotify that if they fucked with his content, then he's gone.
Yeah,
but
so
let's
not pretend he doesn't have a responsibility. He's not raising anybody else's kids. Joe Rogan can do whatever the fuck he wants, and I totally support that. You don't have to listen to him.
True.
But let's not pretend.
Responsibility is there. If you don't like it, don't listen to it.
You're right. And that's always and you're exactly right because that's always been the way it's been with Howard Stern and everything else. And you're exactly right. And sometimes the brain gets foggy because we've been through these last few years. It is fucked up how everybody looks at things. Because minus all this fucking COVID shit, I'd agree with every goddamn thing y'all just said. I'm just questioning a couple of things.
That's what Joe Rogan's doing.
Well, he's a bigger fucking personality than I'll ever be.
Let's not pretend like Joe. Let's not pretend like Joe is any kind of a victim here, Josh, or any of the people he has on.
Why can't he ask questions?
He can.
Then why can't? But then why can't?
He can.
Okay, sure. But why can't Instagram decide not? Why can't certain social media companies decide not to post some of the things that him and his like? That's the thing. None of us. We're living in a situation now where like. No one's being. It's not being controlled by, and if it is, like, what are you going to do about it? You know, like, that's the thing. Like Mike said, that's what Mike said. Okay, but that's my point. Spotify still exists. Joe Rogan still exists. It's not like
Neil Young still exists, and they all will.
Exactly.
They'll all benefit from
and
this.
It's all the cycle still goes on.
There's no victim in this situation.
Nope.
No, there isn't.
That's what I love about this. People are saying, Neil's losing, and people are saying, Joe Rogan's going to lose or Spotify's going to. No,
it really.
You guys have a podcast about it.
Not
everybody's talking about that.
But it's not them picking a side on vaccine or what. Spotify doesn't care. They were just like, well, you want to go? Well, Joe Rogan makes us a lot of money, so
right. It's a business decision.
Go ahead.
We paid him $100 million. We're not going to throw that away.
And Neil's exactly. And Neil's not an idiot. He knows that. But for Neil, it's more about if I can do this and use my platform to get more musicians to back out of the shitty situation that is Spotify, because Spotify sucks for musicians. Right. It's great for the listener, except for the quality, which Neil is very adamant about. But as far as like the ease of it and the fact that it's the number one place to go and listen to music, obviously Spotify wins that battle. So they don't give a fuck. Neil knows that. So if Neil can use this time to use this situation to say, hey, a bunch of other musicians follow me, get the fuck out of here, start your own thing, then he wins too. Like, because, sorry, go ahead, Shu.
I'd like to take this moment to thank Spotify for carrying the Breaking the Ice podcast and also Long May Young. You can still hear hold on about Neil Young.
Shit, do they own Megaphone?
Also, I would like to thank Spotify for sending the analytics, so I don't have to do the work myself.
Right. Hold on. Yeah, we have to do a read for Spotify.
No, we don't. Stop it right now.
Fuck them.
Hold on. I'd like to take this moment to say that Long May You Young will be removing our episodes from Spotify, and I got him on the phone right now.
Dude,
They don't care about us, Mike. They don't care.
know
You're
how
hammered.
big-
That's your hand.
That is going to be so big. That news will
It's
be
either
bigger than
us
this.
or Taylor Swift. You choose.
No, but I think Mike hit the nail on the head at the beginning. I think Neil has wanted off of Spotify forever, and I agree with him. Spotify
Didn't realize he had his own
artists.
platform. He's got his own streaming platform.
Oh, it's great.
And
It's
it
excellent.
sounds
excellent.
amazing. Yeah, it's
Got it.
way
You can
better.
listen to it's right. You can listen to Spotify.
What's that called? What is that? What is that?
Neil
Ellen
Young
Young
Archives.
What is
Neil
it?
Young
Is there-
Archives.
Is there still a free version, you guys? There's still a free
Maybe there will
version,
be
right?
now. Maybe he'll do it now. But it's worth the money if you're a Neil fan. It's well.
Listen,
worth
right,
when
yeah.
Neil watches this show, because he's a big fan of the show.
Oh, he's a
he
fan of
will-
ours too. So all right, perfect.
Yeah.
So
good.
What's it called? It's called Neil Young Archives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's excellent.
But
Got it.
Hold
Isaiah,
on a second.
you can listen.
Hold on a
to-
second. We haven't done this yet. Hey, Daryl, they're talking about me on this other podcast. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
What were you
Russ.
saying, Luke? Go ahead.
Hey,
well, no, I-
Daryl, Cheddar took a big stinky turd, and Isaiah had to go clean it up.
Hey, Cheddar, no more shitting while I'm on the podcast. Jesus.
I think Speedy went in and took a deuce just to fucking match it. Wow, it smells like shit up here.
Yeah,
No,
I'm not gonna do the yelling thing and wake the baby. So.
Do it,
Oh, yeah, sorry, Joe.
Clara, Clara.
Boo.
Loser.
I think if I like I said, Mike hit it. It slightly annoys me that this is the way that it all went out. I wish that Neil would be like, fuck Spotify, fuck these
I'm done.
corporations, I'm out. Like, but this is almost a little better because then maybe people like myself, like I have Spotify, I complain about it all the time, but I fucking have it. So maybe I'll look into some other streaming company
But
for.
don't you think
Right.
it would be more effective if Neil came out and just said all that and did it that way instead of making it all?
No, I
feel
don't.
That's
it-
not how
it's-
Neil works.
No,
Well,
Josh,
then in that case, I think he failed because I think more people are talking about the vaccine and him versus Rogan than they're talking about artists being.
but he
fucked by
also picked a
Spotify.
time. Listen,
But that's
think
not
about
why
what
he done. That's not
think-
why he got off of there, Josh. He doesn't get off of there because he thinks Spotify isn't paying the artists enough. He got off of there because he didn't want to share a platform with another artist who he disagrees with, who he thinks is
just leave.
allegedly spreading information. He did, Josh. He did, and I
know,
think he
but
accomplished it.
why not
Listen, he
leave
put
quietly?
out his state because he wants to. This is what Neil Young does. This is what a protest singer does.
Yep.
This is they go out and they bring attention to an issue they feel strongly about.
But that's my thing. Is I don't think he brought attention to that issue. He brought the attention to COVID. That's what everyone's focusing on.
That's what he's talking about.
That's what he
Josh.
wants.
That's
Yeah.
why he said
The
he
other
left,
stuff is
because
beneficial
Joe
too.
Rogan. He alleges Joe Rogan is giving misinformation about vaccines. So it is about COVID, and
Well,
he
if
wanted to bring
that's-
attention to that. And he also wanted to bring attention to the fact that he's got a superior sounding platform that everybody. If you like Neil Young, then you can just go over there.
Josh,
It's a
think
win-win
about
for Neil.
Think about the perfect storm. That's what people. If he's 73 years old, he's been doing this for a minute, right? Clearly a very good artist. Clearly has all these things that, again, I've just learned about a new streaming
I'm
platform.
very curious what the misinformation is, though.
But that's a different topic. He has chosen to pick that thing because
It's
that
literally
thing
this topic.
is red hot, right? And he also has his agenda of the streaming platform and boom. And please, let's not fucking. He's not working alone. He's got a PR agent, and they go, dude. Now's you drop this egg, and this shit will go.
I don't know if that's how
maybe,
Neil works. Actually,
listen,
I don't
listen,
think that.
Isaiah.
It
Yeah.
not work that way,
really.
but he's got
No,
people
no,
that work
believe-
with him.
Yeah, he does.
Sure.
But please trust our insight on this. The buck stops with Neil.
Okay,
It stops at
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
And
he
picked
has
this time
PR
for a
people, he has a
reason, no?
manager, he has agents and stuff like that.
And he has
But he makes-
87 boosters.
He makes the final
I
decision
get it.
on
But
everything.
so he made a decision to recognize, because I'm sure during Woodstock and the 60s and where there were your times to place I'm going to say this fucking right now. You know why? Because you're going to listen to me. And he's smart for that. He's smart. I've never said Neil Young's name so much in my fucking life over the past week. You guys do because you're huge
I
fans.
just thought you guys were saying the main reason he did all this was to give attention to artists about the whole spot.
No.
No,
that's probably the secondary.
That's what I thought you were
secondary.
saying. And I was like, okay, well,
he
that's secondary.
strongly believes that people
the
should
vaccine.
be vaccinated.
Yes.
Yeah.
So say your shit.
Yeah, but he's one of these people that was driving me nuts when I was literally like,
it's his
why was he
opinion.
driving
That's
you
on
nuts?
you. That's
Neil
on
was
you,
driving you
man.
nuts.
That's your problem.
Yeah,
He can
if
say
you're
whatever the
getting
fuck he
annoyed,
wants.
if you're getting annoyed by celebrities, I'm sorry, you're the idiot. Seriously.
That's Russ.
Yeah,
that's,
I mean,
shut
like
that's
it
you
off.
a
getting
great
annoyed
point.
at Joe Rogan?
That's a great
No,
point.
we don't
I'm not.
Shit,
but
great
no,
counterpoint.
like,
You
it
just
doesn't
started the
bother
whole
me.
thing saying I'm annoyed by Joe Rogan.
No,
because he has
if-
this
Yeah,
if
because
Joe
it,
Rogan
but it
or
doesn't
anyone
affect
else
my
annoys
life.
me,
It doesn't
you just
like
stop listening.
we're having a
You stop
conversation
listening
about
to
it,
him.
and
Yeah,
that's
I
what I
know.
did. I stopped listening to Joe Rogan. So yeah, you're right. I used the language that I was annoyed by him, but
Yep.
like it doesn't affect my life, or I don't give a fuck. I stopped when I got annoyed by Joe Rogan. I stopped listening to
Well,
him.
that's fine to be annoyed by him, but like when I'm yes, I said I'm annoyed by Neil Young, but like when it's people like him, or a big issue I had was my wife's friend who was basically like I know it's just words, it's on Facebook, whatever, but literally I was scared for my health and for my life, and I was just like, do I not make money? Do I not go get this opportunity, or do I roll the dice and get vaccinated? And the people that are like, it doesn't matter, no matter what, you get vaccinated, whether it's healthy for you or not. Just do it. Even it doesn't stop the spread. You can still fucking get it and die.
But you also made that decision on your own.
Well,
I did. I made that. That's what I'm saying.
You
made
made that decision.
yes,
but
you're bringing
when-
up. You're
when
actually
you're-
bringing up.
But
a
when you
good
put
point
on
here.
pressure to like force people to do, when the mandates is the thing I have the problem with, and then when you're doing things like Neil Young that gets the fucking cult all worked up, and then
Why
everyone's
are they a
doing
cult?
it.
The other side. Why
What
are they a
cult?
cult? What cult?
The fucking
Who's in the cult?
acts no matter what cult.
So wait. So what's the other side? That's not a fucking cult.
No,
Yeah,
but
is
it
our
goes
Joe
the other
Rogan
way too.
listeners not a cult?
Listen, everybody
Oh,
that
the
lives
people
on
No, you're
threatening,
bringing. You're.
It
the
goes the
people
other way
making threats
too.
at school meetings.
the
I
PTA
have
is a
something
fucking cult. The
I want
soccer
to have.
team's
I
a
have
cult.
something I want to bring.
No,
up,
I was
and
saying
Luke will-
they're a cult. It goes the other way too with the no vaccine people, like the people that were like no mask. What if you're saying like, oh, it's taking away my rights? I made the fucking decision to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
So don't start freaking out like, oh, you got vaccinated. Why would you do that? You're such an idiot. I'm like, I thought you're.
Don't
So,
listen to the noise.
Josh. I want to say something that
We have a comment from the Zoom caller. Your name is Zoom caller, by the way.
It's
Zoom
it
user.
It ties into exactly what you're saying. That Luke and I recently played a show. I'm gonna try to leave names and all things out of it.
don't do
Although
it.
a part of me wants to just be like, fuck it.
Do-
But
Do it.
we
Say
played
it,
a show
I'll bleep it.
recent.
I
we
won't play
played a
there
sh-
again. Go ahead. I burn the bridge. I can give a shit.
Do it.
We
Do
played
it. Do it.
We played a show at the Bull Run in Shirley, Mass, and
There
we've
it
been playing
is.
there for years. And they treat us not great. They would say that
Terribly.
they would say that they do, but they're kind of the Spotify of venues in a
Cunty.
way.
No,
Cunty.
they're not.
But
They would.
but hold on. My point is, Josh, what you're bringing up, this last show that we played was actually a perfect example of how not to be if you're on either side of the vaccine argument, right?
Debate. Right.
So I think for the most part, everyone else in the band is sort of in the middle on it. Maybe some people lean a certain way, like more towards, yeah, I think most people should be vaccinated or whatever. But we have a certain bandmate that leaned towards, I don't want to get vaccinated. I don't agree with the mandates, blah, blah, blah. They're not vaccinated. And so we played we went to go play the show. And then this was a perfect shitstorm of how not to be on either side, right? So before the show, we were going and sound checking, and then we were hearing from some of the staff members that there was a group outside. And so this is how not to be if you're on the side of, I don't think people should get vaccinated. This is how not to be. You're outside of a local venue where you know musicians are playing a show, and none of us want to be in this situation where we have to deal with this whole vaccine or negative test bullshit thing of like, whatever. However you feel about it, doesn't matter. I myself am vaccinated because I want to play music and I want to tour and whatever. But if you're on the side of, I don't think people should be vaccinated, here's what not to do. Don't go to a local venue and then try to boycott that venue and say, don't go to this show. Don't support these musicians because they're playing a show at a venue that requires vaccine or proof of negative test, because that's taking away our rights.
It hurts the band.
It hurts the band.
Protest
it hurts
somewhere
the
else.
band,
Right.
and it hurts local venues who
Put
they
it on
have
Facebook.
to. Although we don't like this venue anymore, but if it was another venue, we're all trying to figure out how to navigate this whole thing, right? None of us know, right? We're all kind of at the whim of whatever the fuck is happening, and we have to just try to figure it out the best we can, right? So don't go to these places and try to take business away from venues and from musicians who are struggling just as much as everybody else, if not more, when it comes to our certain venue, our certain avenue of trying to live this life and create music. That's how not to be if you're on that side. How not to be if you're on the other side of this thing, which again, I don't think there should be sides, but there is if you're the venue, if you're the owner of the venue and you hear from someone who is very pro-vaccine that someone in the band isn't vaccinated, what you don't do is cause a fucking scene and go up to that person and say, "You're not vaccinated, you can't be in here," and then cause a whole fucking shitstorm when that person was prepared, had their negative test, had everything they needed to play the show, which is what we were told, proof of vaccine or negative test, and then blow up the whole thing by your aggressive, like, what do you call it? Your engagement of, you're engaging the person in an aggressive way. So if you're pro-vaccine, don't come at people with that aggressive energy. Like you said, Josh, you should be vaccinated. Everyone should be fucking vaccinated, because there are certain things. And if you're against the vaccine, you shouldn't be doing that other weird bullshit for people who are vaccinated, or for venues that are trying to, or bands. So there's this whole system, like you said, where the people that aren't suffering are Joe Rogan and the people that he has on his show, and Neil Young. None of them are suffering. They're all fucking millionaires. Joe's making millions off of his supplements and all the ads that he does. He's also a part of a $1 billion corporation, just like pharmaceutical companies. He's no different from anybody else. And Neil is the same way.
Neil just announced, and he's back on Sirius now. Did you see that?
And he's got, and like Shu said, he's got to deal with Amazon. It's not like all of these people are fine. The people that aren't fine are all of us who are all fucking confused. So if we let this stuff work us up, which obviously I sound worked up right now because we're having this passionate conversation, but like there's ways to be and there's ways not to be. So then when these articles get posted and everyone's blasting and resharing it, I looked at one today, and then the one that said like, okay, Neil got removed or whatever. And then everyone's like, bye, go back to your country. We don't need you, Team Joe or whatever. That's how not to react to this information.
Yep.
Because
like to what you said, you described that perfectly. The people that were at the show that were like, that made the huge stink that they found out that somebody wasn't vaccinated. Is that what it was? They found out that somebody wasn't vaccinated and they tried shutting the whole thing down.
Somebody went to your band member and shamed him. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
the owner of the Bull did that.
All right, that's fucked up.
And that's the way I feel like the government is acting, putting a lot of pressure on. Like I
but
don't
Josh,
think Joe Rogan.
I also don't want you to miss the other side of that, because there are people who are acting really extreme, like he acted extreme in the wrong way. They're acting extreme on the other side.
Yeah, protesting outside.
Yeah, that's what
protesting
I said. Like
and all this weird shit. If you really want to do something, like if you think that there's some shady governmental thing going on, and like whatever you might think it is, the fucking, I don't know, go all the way back to the old ones, the Bilderbergers or the fucking Rothschilds or whatever. If you think it's the Clintons or the Gateses or whatever you think is going on and they're controlling whatever. And obviously, like, yes, of course, pharmaceutical companies care about profit, just like Joe Rogan, just like everyone else in the situation. The people that we're never going to know or never going to be in that fucking thing.
Be for yourself.
But
yeah, like
I was saying they're
so my point is, if you like Shu said, if you want to do something about it, then fucking do something about it.
Right.
Go live in the woods, start your own community, and then you won't have to worry about it.
Yep.
Otherwise,
you know what? That's funny, Russ. That's what Neil did here. He left the biggest streaming service in the world. He has his own. He's starting his own.
But my point of like why I was annoyed with the government acting in that way, and like I said, it goes the other way too with the people freaking out that I even got vaccinated. Like why is nobody freaking out that I didn't or did get the flu shot? It's weird that they zeroed in on this. I know it's a
fucked
pandemic,
up time. It's such a
it is,
fucked up
but
time, and everybody's
when
got
the
a chance to react.
When the flu happened, Josh, when the flu happened and that whole thing happened, you know what didn't exist? Social media.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And that's what it is. That's all it is that we're all feeding this fucking monster.
Right.
And that's why it's a thing.
It goes back to what we were saying. Mike and I were saying the same thing.
Point that you were making about the people, how they were acting at the show. I'm saying that's why I am annoyed with the mandates, and why I was saying I was annoyed with Neil stirring that pot of that group of people up, because I was affected in that way, where I was like, I don't want to get the vaccine because my doctor's basically begging me not to. And then I have that group of people being like, it doesn't matter. Your health doesn't matter. You just get the fucking vaccine.
Well, Josh, we're not.
I don't think nobody said the words "your health doesn't matter," but it seems
without
that way.
saying with a mandate.
Okay.
That's
Also,
without saying
if your doctor is begging you not to get the vaccine, you get a written note from your doctor saying that, and then you get a negative test, and you can go into any venue and show that.
Well, but in his case, he was applying
because I was doing it for an employment thing. My doctor said, "Can I write my?" I was doing it for an employment thing. My doctor said, "Can I write you a note and basically say he just had COVID, he has a lung issue, and he has the first shot. He's basically safer than anyone that's fully vaccinated because he just had COVID." And
to brag.
he said, "So if you get a negative test and I write a note, can you still go in?" And I asked the building manager, and they said, "No, you need to be fully vaxxed. It doesn't matter, no exceptions." So I was like, well, fuck, do I just like... Yeah.
Those are situations, like I mentioned earlier, those are situations that are not the norm. And I think as the masses, like the people that are in charge of the masses, I don't want to be rude, but they can't sit and pick and choose. There's how many people are in this country, right? They have to figure out something that, yes, there's that. So I'll give you the flip side of that, Josh. Why did I get vaccinated? I get bronchitis every year like a fucking hero.
Got it for a medical reason, just why I didn't want to get it for a medical reason.
This is why I'm saying this, though. Hold on. This is why we all have different sides of things. I chose to listen, pay attention, follow the rules. I get bronchitis bad. And when I get it, I get fucked up. You know, a handful of years ago.
And your doctor said you should get it.
And she said, get it. So I got it. I got the shot. I got the second shot. I got the booster. And now I still got sick, in January. But frankly,
we all did. Yeah.
Right. But I wasn't in the fucking hospital. Do I know if I would have been, coulda, shoulda, woulda? I don't give a fuck. I did it because I had to focus on me.
So I think I agree with Josh, and I slightly agree with what Isaiah was saying, because I'm super pro-vaccine. I got vaccinated the second I could, for obviously because I wanted to play shows, but also because I felt like it was the right choice for me and for my family, and I think it has paid off. I got COVID once in January, and I've been fine. That being said, I think I do have a pretty crazy problem with Boston and New York not even allowing negative tests, because at this point now we know that not only can vaccinated people carry it and spread it, they're doing it on the same level as everyone else, it seems. Like everyone that I know that's vaccinated got COVID in January. Everybody. Right. So it's in
December or January. It was like a Christmas gift.
But they're not dying from it. So that's why I'm very pro-vaccine. But at this point, it feels weird. Like, mandates feel weird because they're not preventing the spread of it. The only thing they're preventing are unvaccinated people from getting it, and they're not going to get the vaccine at this point. So this is just my own personal point of view on it. And again, very pro-vaccine, happy I got it, but it feels weird now, over a year into it, where we know it doesn't stop the spread of it. Only benefits unvaccinated people, and they don't want to get it. So
that's
I don't know.
Why I don't get why the super pro-vax, the militant ones, are so bothered that the people that aren't vaccinated aren't, because if they get it, you don't like those people anyway. It'll lighten up traffic. So you don't like that group anyway. Just let me get COVID.
Mike, you were waving your hand around on what Luke said.
I haven't had COVID yet.
Yeah. Do you not have the antibodies?
I don't know.
He smokes a ton of weed.
I did everything I was told. I got all the shots. I got the booster. I wash my hands. I wear my mask.
You know for a fact that you didn't have it though? Already?
I've never tested for it.
I think Mike, go back. I think you had it before.
I think I've tested more than all you guys because I just walk across the street and get it done, and I've almost like for every week almost.
Because I
Mike,
feel
that's
like
my
you were
fault.
one of the first people to get it when we were still at AAF.
Right. I think,
You were stupid.
remember back when you were still doing the afternoon show, dude, you were fucked up the week before I started going on the air doing like, I didn't know what Corona was. I
Only
was making
standing
beer
up
jokes.
to like do the breaks and then like music or a commercial would cut, you would be laying down. You're like, this is such
You
a
felt
weird
like
feeling.
shit.
I've never felt
Was
like
that
before.
was that COVID?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Mike, this sounds like anti-Asian rhetoric. I think they're saying that you got it before anyone else because
Yeah.
you're Asian.
It's
I
just-
don't
yeah.
think that's
He
cool.
actually
We don't do that on the
Or-
Long May You Young
or-
A to
podcast.
play the
Or-
rate. I
The
didn't
China flu, right?
You guys
Or
aren't.
they're
You guys
saying-
don't do
they're
it right on the
saying-
show.
I think what they're saying is that you didn't get it because you're Asian and because you're part of the crew that created it.
No, listen.
Oh,
Rick,
look at the human social medias down here.
You guys don't do it
China
right.
only
With my words.
gave the real vaccine to Chinese people.
Correct.
Yes.
That's what the truth
Correct.
is.
Yes.
See, you guys don't
Right.
cover this on the Neil Young thing. We fucking, dude, our Asian hate on the show is amazing.
We only hate Italians
No,
on the Neil Young.
No, actually, Russ really hates Asians when he gets drunk,
That's true.
and Italians.
That's Jim. He does hate
Yeah.
Italians.
And I would
But
like to
yeah,
welcome
no,
in
no.
our
Well, hold on. We're all-
Shameless, everybody.
Hold on.
We're
hold
all-
on.
Okay, go ahead.
You know what was fucking funny? I watched last night. I think you'll all appreciate this. You have to go watch the Don Rickles Netflix special. You want to talk about a comedian that just would get on stage and fucking say whatever he wanted to. Dude, I laughed. It mainly focused on his 2006, probably one of his last. I'm not sure when Don passed, but he looks feeble and like, oh, he's super tired. He puts on his fucking vest and goes and blasts absolutely every single person in there. And he shot him. If I could have met him and Seth MacFarlane, I could die because they just fucking have fun with everybody. See, we only have one Asian on the show, so we can only pick on Asians because Josh and I are white. We got nothing.
All I
Oh
said
no, that's not
was
true.
you seemed a little under
are
the
white.
weather.
You have
Yep.
everything.
True.
yeah.
I'm a white Jew with actually a white Catholic with a Jew name. I'm a mess. I'm a hot mess.
Right.
You
I
can
just
pick on
get
me,
these
but
in the mail.
I also love.
I don't
that
even
you
know where they
said-
come from. They're just like, here.
because
I
you're a
love that
fucking
you
millennial that checked the box of, wah, I need money. Fuck you.
No, I checked the box white and they sent me money.
You got to use that.
You guys don't cover this on the Neil Young fucking podcast? Come on.
No, with the real reason that Mike didn't get COVID has nothing to do with his race. It's because he's from Worcester, kid. And everyone knows that people from Worcester don't give the fucking.
Okay,
we don't
I
get
wish
the
that were
COVID
true.
down here.
I wish
I
we
do need to-
had the worst numbers in the past month, man.
With the way people clip things, I would like to say all I said was shoe. You seemed a little under the weather. Everyone took it Chinese. So
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
I said you didn't look so well. And then, I mean, race
I
came.
don't know.
Josh,
How do
that's
I-
the equivalent of saying I've got Asian friends. What?
Wouldn't I have?
But I
wouldn't
do.
wouldn't,
He
wouldn't
can
they
say he
detect
has one,
antibodies?
Mike.
Wouldn't they detect antibodies in me though if I had it?
That's why I was asking if you got tested for antibodies.
Yeah, there's a
No.
different test.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
know
it's
that.
it's a different thing.
No, I think
the-
Mike's
the
right.
other
Mike
thing-
smokes so much weed, he'll never get any disease.
That
The
might
other
be
thing,
it.
the other thing I want to say is I agree with Luke. I am myself am vaccinated. I think if it's safe for you to do it, I think you probably should at this point. Like,
Yep.
the science seems to be sound. That's the other thing. When I listen to Shane Moss, and Shane will tell you, yeah, if you struggle with watching, CNN or MSNBC because they only have virologists or scientists that are paid by pharmaceutical companies or whatever, sure, I get that. But go to your local university and talk to like the head of their virology department or whatever, and they'll explain to you the science of vaccines and how it makes sense or whatever. Like, it's easy. Like Shu said, do your own research.
Yeah, they
listen
don't put those people on the mainstreams, bro.
No,
because
no.
those don't get ratings.
But
No,
you're
and that's
exactly
why-
right. You also feel like if
but-
it doesn't
but-
make
but
sense
Josh,
to get it, that you
The
shouldn't get
problem
it.
is the problem.
Go
Yeah,
talk
of
to the
course.
experts.
Yeah, sure, but
Why is that
talk-
wrong? If your doctor is literally saying, "Please don't get it," it's probably not good for
That's
you.
There's
that's
nothing wrong with that.
That's why the issue in that situation is this building. They
Right.
need to change. They need to like figure out a different.
The
policy.
people that you're applying to goes right back to what Mike said. Okay.
It's probably
You applied for that job. And because of that, you also can say, fuck you. I choose not to participate. Like I don't have to listen to Joe Rogan. Like I don't have to listen to Neil Young or go on Spotify. Unfortunately, you do make a good point because kid needs diapers. So
or you know what,
when
Josh?
every employer is
hey,
mandated though.
they're not going to all do it.
That's not what's going to happen.
The Supreme
I work
Court
a
just
job
shut
right
that
now.
down. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I work a
saying,
job
what
right
if
now,
it
and
did
I never
happen,
had to
though?
prove anything.
Okay,
I never
what
had to
if
prove anything.
he said, she said? It's not going to happen. People are making these decisions, these knee-jerk reactions to do things, and they're happening, but it's all got a bell curve at some fucking point, right? It's all got to calm the fuck down. You were in a situation
All
where
I'm
you,
okay, hold on. When you said my doctor said that I should get it and I
Sure.
wanted to be safe and I got
Yep.
it,
Yep.
everyone respected that. When I say
didn't
my
ask
doctor,
anybody's opinion about who respected it. It was what was
I'm
good
not
for me.
asking anyone's I'm saying everyone did respect it. And then
Sure.
when I say my doctor said don't get it,
Wait. I don't want. Wait. Do you think that I said that I respect you? Let's be
No.
let's be clear, Josh.
Never respected you, motherfucker. And there's your promo for the show.
but that's just the attitude where I'm like, I didn't want to get it for medical reasons, and everyone's like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
it's not our
It's
problem.
such it. Well, but the problem is we go back to what Mike and I were saying earlier. The problem is, again, if this were 40 years ago and you had your opinion and you did your thing for you, your wife, and your daughter, that's fine. I don't need to know about it. But everybody posts and everybody talks.
Right.
Well,
and
that's
everybody's so
and then can we-
every single
and
time
then
I
can-
take a shit.
Right. And then can we bring it
Or
back
cheddar,
to what
or cheddar.
can it bring it, can we
Cheddar
bring it
took a
back to
dump.
why
Wow.
to why you guys are on the podcast? Look what's happening now to prove Isaiah's point. People are choosing sides
Yep.
over a
Right.
ridiculous
Yes,
fucking
exactly.
subject. Right?
Totally stupid.
All of a
Totally
sudden-
stupid topic.
All of a sudden it's Team Joe or it's Team Neil. When in
Stupid.
reality,
Stupid.
it has no effect on whether you get up tomorrow and go to work.
Nope.
Your bills are still going to come in. You're
Still gonna pay
you're
the mortgage.
You're still going to need to eat.
Yep.
Team Joe or Team Neil, and this is what Isaiah is doing, saying right now. It's all of a sudden in 2 days, it's divided everyone more than what actually matters with the people making decisions with what matters in our lives.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like you said,
and,
Russ. Like you said, Russ. These are two millionaires.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Right.
going home crying here. Nobody's
Yes.
losing their fortune.
They're
both
pulling the
gonna
Breaking
benefit
Bad.
from it.
Say my name. Say
I
my
wonder
name.
if I wonder if they powwowed. You know,
And you know what?
I was thinking
Probably.
that.
And you
Right,
know what else?
seriously.
Shoot. You know what's interesting? And sorry to get too Neil Young here for you other two dopes, but
Hey,
what's
fuck
interesting?
off.
What's interesting is that right now, right, the album that we're listening to prepare
Yeah, I
is
was thinking
a
about
whole
this.
album about how corporations are fucking evil and
Wow.
do evil things. So you could put that towards pharmaceutical companies, which
Great fucking
I,
album, by the way.
What
It
album
is.
are you
It's
guys
very
getting
good.
ready to do?
It's called the
Monsanto
Monsanto,
Years.
Years.
Nice.
But so Mike, I agree because we're talking about this is what happened, right? Now people are going Team Joe or Team Neil.
Right.
No,
They've
nobody's talking about fucking Spotify, really. No
No.
one's
Yeah.
talking about how fucked up Spotify is.
And,
And-
nobody's talking about the Surgeon General of the United States asking the government
Yes,
to tell
or
Spotify
Is that real,
to
dude? Is
take-
that real? Where the fuck
Dude,
did you
it's all over the news. But all you
I
see
don't-
right now trending is fucking Neil Young, Joe Rogan, The Bachelorette, and the fucking Patriots. That's all
You
you,
know
see
what?
right now.
Yeah, but
None
you
of
know
that
why?
fucking matters.
Fuck
But it goes back to corporations, Mike, because we're not supposed to see that. You're not supposed to know that's
Right.
happening.
Right.
It's
Right.
if
It's like-
you if
and-
you,
It's
It's
the same
that
reason
shit is
why
controlled.
Moderna and Pfizer can be advertising, but baby formula can't. It's illegal for baby formula to advertise,
What?
but not.
What?
Why?
What?
I don't know.
It's
Why-
not illegal
why
for
can't-
baby formula to advertise.
Somebody needs to
I
fact
don't know.
check
Have you
Josh.
have you seen an advertisement for baby form? I think I
I don't know.
have, Josh.
I feel like
Have
I
you?
definitely have.
If you open a Woman's Day magazine, and I do often, they have great
Ew.
articles.
What did my
You see ads for that kind of stuff.
When I'm
you
sitting
know?
at the dentist's office, I open Women's Daily.
Josh, what the fuck are you talking
when,
about?
when I'm
was
whacking
that,
off,
Josh?
when I'm whacking off to a
My wife
Glamour
said it, and I took it as
magazine,
fact. Hold on.
You go fact check your old lady then. Jesus Christ. What?
No wonder, Josh. No, what? So your wife and Joe Rogan, are those the two
Hold on,
sources
hold on,
of
hold on,
information
hold on,
in your
hold on.
life?
That is that dude, that's what makes him so fucked up.
See, why do I have to be on a side? Because my doctor said don't get the vaccine. I get put like, why do I have to be on anti-vax?
Listen, at this point, if you don't get vaccinated, we're going to kill you. So.
Because this is
Why
because
am I
this
wrong that my doctor said it might affect your health?
Because it's fun. It's
No
fun
one
to
said
make
you're
it
wrong.
No one said you're wrong, Josh.
Listen, you're not
Literally,
a baby
who's
formula
not
ad.
that?
You're not wrong here, okay?
I think he's trying to get an endorsement from a baby formula company.
Yeah, he is.
Josh, who said you were wrong?
I just
No,
feel
he's
like
not
when
saying he's wrong. I can listen. He's not saying he's wrong. He's saying that because he
I
was
can say
going
it,
for
Ron.
a
It's
job,
Right.
he
He's
was going
demonized
for a job.
Right.
No, he's going for a job.
Did
He
they say you were wrong?
No, they said that he couldn't come
No, I'm
in
saying
unless he
I'm
was.
relaying what my doctor said to me. I
Okay.
feel like everyone is like putting me in the anti-vax, like they're putting Joe Rogan in the anti-vax category. Where I'm
he
just
is.
saying, why can't it be? I think he's anti.
Joe Rogan's vaccinated.
He's
No, he's not.
Oh, he totally is.
He's definitely not.
Oh, dude, it's the
Also,
same thing with
I'm not
Tucker Carlson. They
anti-vax.
just
I'm saying
yap.
if
They're
it
all
Tucker
vaxxed.
Carlson
Fuck
is.
off.
If it doesn't make sense for your health, you shouldn't be forced to get it.
And who said that was wrong?
The company that
Everyone-
he was trying to work for.
No, they
Everyone
didn't say it was wrong. They just said they couldn't let him in because of their policy.
I just don't think they liked his fucking audition reel and said he fucking stinks. And
Hold
that
on.
was the
That's
excuse.
you're probably right, man. I mean,
Josh, are you
Also-
drinking baby
not so
formula?
much- it's not really a sizzle reel. It's more like a
Also, if
Dude, he
fizzle.
basically
It's
made a
fizzle
porn
reel.
video. It's like what
Fizzle
the
reel.
fuck
That's what it is.
this? You guys got to watch that thing. It's like
I'm a-
Josh talking about radio. It's sad.
Oh God.
Also, Luke, if Joe's not
A miracle you
vaccinated,
worked.
if Joe's not vaccinated, then that answers the question as to why people like Fauci won't go on the show because they're not going to be around unvaccinated people.
So that seems kind of lame.
I think
Kinda
Fauci,
weird.
do you
Fauci
think-
should
do you
totally
think,
go on Joe Rogan.
Do you think Fauci's not going on the show because he works for the federal government?
But he would
and-
be
Yes.
fine if he's vaccinated.
And they
Also,
don't want,
I'm not
they don't want
I
a
don't know.
representative?
I don't know who that guy is. I don't fucking know anything about it. That's the
Who?
other thing. Fauci. I'm saying
Yeah.
none of us know any of these people. Also,
Nope.
none of us know how vaccines work or viruses work.
Nope.
Or how
So,
baby
like-
formula works. I don't know.
Or how baby formula and advertisements work. And
I know how advertising works.
you
I
know
do
what?
that.
You know what
I
I
do
took out of that? You know what I took out of that was the one thing I took from that was wait, Josh listens to his wife?
Oh, you have no
No,
idea.
you-
She tells him
Oh, yeah, you
exactly
don't
what
even
to
know.
Do you know
Yeah.
what that reminded me of? And I'm just going to bring it back to hockey because this started, believe it or not, as a hockey podcast.
Right,
do.
right.
Right.
Not this
Breaking
episode,
the ice
but
with
yeah,
Josh and
right.
fucking and
But-
that guy.
Sometimes
You're
when
breaking
Josh,
the ice so it didn't have to be about hockey.
so-
Since
so I'll relate
1981, the World Health Organization
All right,
banned
shut up.
baby formula
Shut up.
companies from.
I'll relate it-
Oh, I found
listen,
a
Go,
fact
Luke.
check.
I'll relate it to the only
count your
only
money.
hockey that I know, which is the movie Mighty Ducks. Okay, sometimes Josh reminds me
Very
so much
accurate.
of what's his name, Charlie, I think it is.
Charlie
Charlie
Sheen.
Conway, whatever his name is, where in the beginning he's going to score, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's gonna get it," and then everyone who knows him like, "Nah, he's not. It's Charlie. He's gonna miss." And then he
That's
gets
basically
so
Josh.
close. He gets so close, and then right at the end, so like Josh has got this point. He's ramping up, and then he's like, "Yeah," and then the government, and then baby formula, and then everyone's
You
like,
fucked it all up.
yeah, there it is.
And then I
You
try
had
and
it
read
all.
the fact check, and then everyone is just like, "Nope, shut up."
You had you were on a trajectory, and then you yelled out baby formula, and the whole thing went to like, wow, he's just on
Do
fucking.
you want me to read it or no?
No one cares
No.
about baby formula.
Well, now
gives a
nobody
fuck?
cares about it, but you won't shut up about it.
Wow, we're gonna
You
see.
won't
We're
hear
gonna
the
see
fact
him.
check.
We're gonna
You
see
want it
him
to
on
be wrong
Newsmax
so
later
bad,
tonight.
don't you?
the other thing too, the other thing is that none of us, no
Boy,
matter
it's getting,
what,
dude, it's getting darker in your car minute.
Yeah,
by
Russ,
minute.
what's going on?
the,
I hope you're in a
the
safe
other-
area.
I was like, we've
The
been on
other
this thing
thi-
for an hour and a half, and it's midnight.
The
Well,
cops are
I
going to come
don't-
in and
I
think you're
told
like
Alana I'm
looking for
here. I don't know
some
why
easy sex.
she ha-
Who are
she
you
hasn't
talking
come out
to, and why are you holding your headphones? You're yelling about a
You know what, Isaiah? It's because
You're
Big
gonna-
Baby Formula is listening in to this.
big baby formula. No matter
It's
how
not
you
big
feel,
pharma. It's big.
1981, the
baby
health organization banned baby formula companies from direct advertising.
Dude, Josh, you gotta get some therapy.
You know,
You
he's probably right, but it doesn't even matter because it's so
No,
dumb.
but it
Drives
might be
Isaiah nuts when I prove
it
him wrong.
might be right, but he's yammering like a fool. That's the crazy part. He just says it the wrong way.
Because you won't drop the baby formula. I'm trying. You said fact check it, so I'm trying to fact check it.
All right, hold on. Let me Google this. What do you want to Google? Hold on.
No, he actually is
Typical
right.
pro-vaxxer.
I
You won't
Googled
listen
it.
to me.
I never got
Googled it. He
vaccinated.
actually is right.
All right,
Since
we have-
1981.
We have two sources now, so that means it's a fact, according to any journalist.
So
No,
Facebook
that's
and Twitter,
basic-
are those considered
That's
facts?
basic journalistic rule. You have two reliable sources.
Oh, actually,
Yeah.
So here's the problem: is Josh did what I did. He Googled it and he read the first thing on Google and said
Such a
that's a
douche.
fact. So now that I'm looking
Is
at
it
it,
an
this is
ad?
from something called revealnews.org. So
Oh,
no one
see?
knows.
It's
if
probably
this is
some kind of
actually-
fucking. It's a dude in Slovenia in his basement who's
In
just cranking stuff out because he gets a check every month from friggin' baby formula companies.
But it does look like you might not be able to advertise baby formula, but you can advertise.
Oops.
That's so funny because you can advertise cigarettes.
Yeah.
Well, not really.
And everybody lost their mind.
You know what that
so
means?
baby
What
formula.
what that means is the baby formula lobby has to step up their game and get some
Yeah.
more money.
Get a better
Yeah,
lawyer.
Yeah, but that has
Because
nothing
No,
to
in
do
its-
with
tobacco,
what we were
because
talking
Also,
about.
it's in-
that
they're
could be
lobbyers.
anything.
Hold on. In Australia, you can't advertise baby formula. There is a lot of debate about the
But I'm
marketing of
an idiot.
baby formula in
That's what he
Australia.
said, in Australia.
And also, it's from the 80s. That it's not like one can't. You were using it as an example of like, well, Moderna can, but baby formula. But this is something that happened in the 80s. Probably
So it's
before
weird.
that-
But hold
Okay,
on.
so a law that's made in the 80s doesn't
you talk
apply
about
now.
advertising. You talk about advertising. I Google baby formula.
It's just
and
a
I've got
totally
20
separate.
I got 27 different links to different baby formulas. So
Not,
that's
and not that we need to go down this road, but Josh
That's
he is
advertising.
onto something. I mean, do
Right
you
there.
know that the United States is the only country in the world that allows pharmaceutical companies to advertise? We don't need to
Yes.
do
Well,
this.
yeah,
because,
nobody's
because the
nobody's-
government's making money off of
Yes,
them.
no one's
When I
arguing.
say it, it's wrong because I didn't want to get vaccinated.
Shut up,
No,
baby
that-
formula. Shut the fuck up.
No, listen, Josh, you didn't get vaxxed. You fucking should mute yourself at this point.
I'm fully vaxxed. I got 37 boosters, and you know,
And you're going to get 37 more, or you'll never work in
You
corporate
tried
America.
I like that you tried the booster joke earlier with a less amount and it didn't work, so you tried it
Nope.
with 37 this time.
It's like
everybody
stand-up
knows
comics.
bigger numbers are funnier.
Is that comedy
Crickets.
101? If it doesn't work the first time, just add more.
No, you just say
Mommy.
it louder.
That's my tactic. Just yell over people.
The other thing that I was gonna say was that whatever. I don't know.
That
fuck
you're
it,
still
it
driving
doesn't
and you're
matter.
in Denver
Hey,
by now?
also-
Where the fuck
No,
are you going?
I'm waiting in the parking lot. I told her.
Are you
she
going
could come out
skating still?
anytime. I don't know. She was supposed to come out and meet me.
Is this
but-
your girlfriend?
Yeah, but I guess her papa's not doing well, so I don't know.
Oh, thanks.
You don't break
Yeah.
the whole fucking
her out of
thing
the
down
car?
by doing
Busted for
that.
us.
It's because he's vaccinated.
Oh,
Listen,
It's because
I,
he,
I,
likes
he had
Joe
baby.
Rogan.
He had baby formula when he was a kid.
I actually have to go. But
fuck do you
I'm
do? Hold
I'm
on,
Team
hold on.
Neil. and I'll occasionally dabble with Rogan. I hate
Team Neil.
Spotify,
Ladies
and
and
I
gentlemen,
probably
ladies
will
and
leave
gentlemen,
Spotify for other
There's your
reasons.
baby formula.
Yeah.
Advertising on Google. There you
All
go.
right,
You're
see you
wrong,
guys.
Josh.
See ya,
All right,
man.
goodbye. See you.
Long
bye.
may
But,
podcast.com.
Yeah,
Yes, that's right.
The title of this episode is Baby Formula.
Yeah. So I started with a different painting company like a couple weeks ago, and I was working with this guy who made it very clear, very fast that he was like very right wing, and I was like, "That's cool, man, whatever." And then we were walking out to my car at the end of the day, and he saw like my Bernie sticker on the back of my car, and he's like, "Oh, you like Bernie, whatever." And then so he got into it with me, and we had this good discussion because I was like, this is my first day on this new job. I'm not gonna like, I just know how to talk in certain situations to certain people like that. And so what I did was like, I was like, well, hey man, yeah, I might like Bernie, and that might make you not like me. But what might make you like me a little bit is that I don't like Biden. So then like that, I kind of use that as a tactic to be like, well, at least we have some shit in common.
Right.
And then we had this long conversation.
Barack
And then
Obama doesn't even like Biden.
And then towards the end of it, I was like, the point is, man, like two people who are on very far sides of things can have these discussions as long as we know, like, you're not going to change my mind. I'm not going to change your mind. And that shouldn't be what we are trying to do really anyway in these situations. So if like these major companies and these major millionaire industries and people even are trying to do that for their own profit, it shouldn't really matter to us. But like you pointed out, they're still winning because here we are. And that's the world we live in. And there's nothing really that we can do about it. And
Nope.
we're also trying to entertain people. And this is what's happening. So
We're the ones that
you
go
know,
fight the wars. This is just the
it is what it is, man. And you know, it's just kind of, I don't know. I mean, what the fuck are you gonna do, really? It just,
you know, it'd be great is if everybody just shut fucking news and social media off for like a month. Your life would be so much better. You'd be less stressed. You'd fucking argue with people.
Yeah.
It's too much information. It really is. At
It's
the
a
end
lot,
of the day,
yeah.
it's too much information for any one
I just-
person to like. Look, Mike, how old's your daughter?
She's 17.
Good, right. So let's look at it from her eyeballs. What the fuck has that girl seen over the past couple years? Now you're your age and I'm my age, but like, it's
Isaiah,
just too fucking much.
Can you please not talk about Mike's 17-year-old daughter's balls? That's really weird, man.
leave the daughters out of this.
No, I'm fuck off.
I
was talking like I was literally talking to my buddy Chad, who my goddaughter's 6, right, and her sister's 7, and it's just like I'm bummed for those people. I'm really just like, this is too much shit for me.
Oh yeah,
this is too much shit for all of us. Where it's like every day it's just like, what the
but
fuck?
you know what, you're right, there's a lot of information out there.
Too much information.
You have to work extra hard to make sure it's a reliable source.
Correct.
You know, and that's what's exhausting. It's not that there's an overwhelming amount. It's that you take too much time you can't just read the news. Like you said earlier, there was like 4 channels, but now there's everything all the time.
Yeah.
So you have to take time, and it takes a long time.
Every time you pick this fucking thing up,
right,
there's a shitload of information.
Until you get to the point where you're not even reading the article anymore.
Correct.
Yeah, and because you're checking. Well, who is this article written by, and what companies do they hold stock and interest? You know, what side of the argument?
That's the thing. So is it the Boston Globe or the Boston Herald, the Washington Post,
one of them.
or the?
I feel they all have CNN. They have less credibility than TMZ and Barstool Sports.
I think so. At this point, because
why do you think Joe Rogan is the #1 podcast? Why do you think a lot of people actually take what he says as law?
Right.
Because he's not all those people. He's not all those people you just mentioned.
It's so funny that a comedian.
Why do they trust Joe Rogan?
Law, but not the news.
I know.
They can blatantly make things
but why is that? Why is that? Besides,
times are changing. People need new things to listen to. Part of the reason
is because we don't trust the news sources anymore. But why Joe Rogan? Why do people?
Because he has the fan base and the people have the power now.
He didn't always have this fan base. He started somewhere.
Fear factor,
right? So
no, it was before that. He was on fucking news radio.
Well, there was all that. There's his stand-up, news radio, everything, MMA. He starts his podcast. Don't tell me he started with 100 million downloads.
No.
He started with Ari Shaffir.
And that's basically what this podcast was. It was his friends. So why now? Like, let's talk about now. Why? What is it that makes people trust Joe Rogan so much?
I don't think it's trust. I think it's a different form of entertainment. It's a different way to deliver whatever information you have. He's just talking to people.
I don't know if they trust him or he's.
I don't think people trust him.
He's good at having conversations with a lot of different people.
Like,
He'll
do
talk
people
to people
trust
from the
Howard
right
Stern?
and the left.
No, he just talks to people though.
But Joe Rogan will talk to anybody when the news will be like, no, you got to meet these.
So if Tucker Carlson or Don Lemon or whatever, trying to think of extremes here.
Yep.
Interview somebody, it's less credible than Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, some of the things that are happening. Look at what Fox is doing now. Fox has got this thing called Fox Nation, where there are documentaries that Carlson Tucker does, and I'm sure they have it on CNN too. I'm just using this as an example because I was with somebody yesterday that was showing me the Fox Nation app. He happens to be a veteran; he gets it for free. And I said, frankly, I don't like the Fox, Newsmax, CNN, MSNBC approach at night because it's one person sitting there just barking at me and telling me, and you're not talking to me, you're yelling at me. And so he says, well, you should check out, and I don't want to watch this shit, but whatever. It's a whole documentary series that Carlson's done, and I'm sure CNN does the same thing. So if you want to, it's all in, and you know this, Mike, as being years as a personality on the radio, and you get this, Russ, as an artist, and Josh as a comic, it's all fucking delivery. Like, if you can just fucking talk to me for a minute,
But Shu's question is why would Fox News and CNN be less credible? And it's because they each have their own narrative. Joe Rogan, I feel like, doesn't have a narrative.
Of course he does. Of course he does
have a narrative. Of course he does.
Of course he does.
What's the narrative?
So do you.
It's
So
not.
do
It's
you.
not
And
like-
so do I.
It's not as
Right.
blatantly obvious as what the major
Right.
networks are.
It's not.
Here-
It's not a traditional narrative. That's the thing. He has
His narrative
a
is
brand.
probably the
He
MMA.
has a brand.
He has a brand.
narrative.
He has a brand.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Hold on.
And
His
a very
narrative is
good
Joe
one.
Rogan.
Can I
Right.
talk real
Exactly.
quick?
So why do people trust that more?
I don't think they trust it though. They don't trust it. They watch
They
it.
trust
They're
it
entertain-
enough to broadcast their feelings on social media.
But that's not
They-
trust. That's
here's
commenting.
the thing.
Commenting on
It's
what I'm
because-
watching.
It's because we're all stupid and we're all the same. Like so for instance, the Tucker Carlsons and the Fox, they have these interests because they're these major corporations and these people who have like the most money in the world buy, they want them to
Advertising.
to advertise, right? Advertising, right? And so they're all bought by these people who want you to talk about this thing, and if people talk about that, then you got to make sure that you defend this, whatever. They all have, like you said, Isaiah, their agendas, right? Everyone has their agenda based on the interests of whoever owns them, essentially, right? That's just how it's always been. We
But
all
does Joe
do that.
Rogan not have an agenda?
Of course.
He
No, I'm
does.
getting
It's
to
a
that.
little
I'm
bit
getting to
different
that.
than
Hold
the
on. I'm getting to that.
standard of what
Okay.
we're
I'm getting
All
to
right.
that. It's just that we are all now in this social media age where, like you were saying, Isaiah, that there's so much information. None of us know what to trust. So what we do is we turn to like the fringe things, and we, instead of like doing our own inner work, which you and I have talked about, which is what we should be doing, is like going inward and focusing on ourselves. Instead of doing that, we deflect it and we look towards like, well, who's causing me my pain? So then you're like, well, corporations are fucking ruining everything. Pharmaceutical companies, which I agree. And that's why I can go off on other tangents. And I agree with what some of what you guys are saying as far as the pharmaceutical companies being evil. I have friends who died of cancer and their families are still paying off hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt. This country is fucked. This country
so what
is
does that
fucked
have
when
to
it
do with
comes-
the news, though?
I'll
The
tell
news.
you. Because those interests, we look and now we can see, oh, well, they're owned by these companies, da 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 da. But when you look at someone who's got, Joe worked his way up in the industry as a comic, and then he get into the podcast game right at the right time. He's got all these like actors on because he made friends with all these actors in the scene, and it was just like Mark Maron for a while. Those were the two big things that they took over the podcast game. So then they build, just like anything, they build an audience, they build a thing. And then now we're in this time where there's all these conflicting and confusing things going on. So Joe is tapping into that like conspiracy thing and those fringe people. But people look at Joe and they think, well, he's not owned by the corporation. So I'm going to trust his source because he's having on the people that the major companies won't have because of their interests. But I guarantee you, if those people were like against supplemental companies, he wouldn't have them on because that's not his agenda. If they were against Joe's agenda, Joe's not going to have them on. He's the same. It's
But
just
he tries
a different.
to get those people on. Like when he had he had the guy from what's that doctor's name? The guy that was basically saying that he was promoting horse tranquilizers, and he had him on and they talked it out. And like he was saying, he was like, I want to have Fauci on, but Fauci doesn't want to come on. But I think the reason people they trust Joe Rogan's show more than the news is because it's hard to have a conversation on Fox News or CNN in 5 minutes or the tiny time slot they give you. Joe Rogan talks.
Well,
for
that's
4 hours
that's
with
why
the
people
guest.
like
So
podcasts.
it gives a lot more time to explain and go off in different directions. When on Fox News,
Even though he spends an hour and a half of it talking about MMA. Yeah.
Which is what
Which he's allowed to do.
That drives
and
you
all
crazy.
the people
He's
that
an
want to
expert
listen
on
to
that.
have to deal with it. That's why one of the reasons I stopped.
Yeah, he is an expert on that.
He's the fucking
commentator.
he's the announcer.
He
Sure he
practices. He doesn't fight, and that's probably the only thing he doesn't do. But if Joe Rogan wanted to give me some advice or tell me something about MMA, I'd be all ears.
Right.
But if Joe Rogan wanted to tell me something about medicine, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm not going to take this too
Sure,
seriously.
absolutely. Yeah.
Right. You know.
Anyway, I love you guys.
All right.
I gotta get going now.
I gotta
Thanks
piss
for
so
having
bad
me
I can
on.
taste
yeah,
it.
So do I.
All right, you guys.
So do I.
I can
Love
hear
you
my
guys.
baby
Thanks.
crying.
God
Basically,
bless you.
Go give her some formula. Oh wait, no, don't do that.
You can't advertise that. Hold on.
You can't make him happy. It just,
All right, see you guys. Thanks.
All right, later on.
All right, see you, man.
Here we go.
Bye.
Look at this.
All right. So basically, if you
That was
need,
aggressive.
if you need medical advice,
Go to
Joe Rogan or Neil Young are not the people to go to.
No, you sure?
Yeah.
I don't
And
think
if you
even
do
Joe
go to
Rogan is saying to
or
go to
Neil
him.
Young-
I think
Huh?
I think Joe Rogan's just asking questions to.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right, Josh. He's not. But that's why I keep asking, why do people trust him? Because people are going to Joe Rogan.
They're feeling safer
He's right,
than
and he's-
watching the talking heads.
Right. And you're right. He's not telling people to do anything.
Mhm.
But people are going
migrating.
to him
Yep.
for that.
Well, good for
They're
him.
looking to him for direction.
Good for him.
So yeah,
Or
and good
he's
for him.
saying,
That's good.
"Here's-
So
here's
my
this
question
way
is
of
why Joe Rogan? Now I'm that's a legit question. It's not a sarcastic question. It's not rhetorical. It's like I'm interested because we've met Joe Rogan. We've seen him a million times. We've watched and listened to his pod. So we know what his angles are all about. As far as performance and everything goes. So why are people? That's what the question is. Why not Patton Oswalt?
I think.
Or why not? Why not? Well, how come Bill Burr's not like this?
Well, because
he's got
I
a
think
podcast.
because
He's
the
been in movies and TV.
But the platform is bigger, and the bigger you are, let's look at Tom Brady as an example. You are big. You are at the top of your game. We're going to look at you, and then when other people talk about him, that's going to help other people look. This whole Neil Young, Joe Rogan thing is I've never said Neil Young's name so much in my fucking life over this past week. And will it make me listen to some of his music? It actually might. No bullshit. And especially
All
it
right.
might actually, no, just because it piqued my interest. And I'm not like I think Russ said, I'm not a massive Joe Rogan fan. I think he's funny and talented, whatever. Not the funniest, but guess what? When Josh sent me that episode with the doctor, I listened to the whole fucking thing. I'm going to probably listen to, whatever things are considered misinformation
That's
because
why
I'm
I think-
interested.
I
I'm
think
interested.
People go to him because that's why I go to him. Like
I'm interested.
when my doctor is saying to not get vaccinated, and I was the reason I sent that to you, Isaiah, was because I was telling you that on the phone, and you're like, "Oh, tell him to shut off Fox News. He's a Republican." Blah blah.
I didn't say that.
You did, and that's why I was like, "Listen to this guy."
No. I've never said those words to you.
Start
douche.
recording our
You
phone
do
conversation.
start to because I don't discriminate on either side of I listen to everybody. And when
Literally
you
scream, turn off Fox News all the time.
never said that to you.
I was
I've
like,
never once said shut off Fox News. Never once.
that's like a
Nope.
slogan. Oh my god. Anyway,
I've never told you that.
that's
You probably
why-
should shut that shitty channel off, but I don't think I've ever
and
said it.
he went back
And
real
here we
quick.
go. Well, because you do.
That's
you
why I
sit-
sent it to
sit
you,
there-
but you're not going to find that guy anywhere else. And I thought I'm not saying everything he was saying was true. I was saying this is what my doctor was saying. Here's a guy that's on.
Do
a
you
bigger
find
platform.
anything? Do you find anything on CNN useful?
No,
All right. Well, then there you are.
The
Then there you
documentaries
are.
are excellent, actually.
Well, there you are. You're
I
fucked.
didn't even know they had documentaries.
Look,
Oh, they're fantastic.
I actually
Yeah.
watched a fucking documentary on Newsmax. Okay. I don't want to watch Greg Kelly. I don't want to watch Greg Kelly's one of their prime guys. I don't want to watch Sean Hannity. I don't want to watch Anderson Cooper. Okay. There's CNN, there's Fox. I don't want to watch the woman that works on MS because all you're fucking doing is yapping at me for an hour. Poke. But if you do a documentary form, again, it's just like somebody liking a fucking reality show. Do I like Survivor? No. But over the years, you figured out how to come up with Deadliest Catch. I thought that was pretty fucking cool. It's a fucking reality show. Did I like, what was the one that was on MTV? The first one with Puck. What was that? Like the first MTV did, it's like Big Brother, but it was the Real World. Remember the Real World? That was the first. I thought that shit was garbage. But at some point you figured out Ice Road Truckers, Deadliest Catch. You've now got my attention. So I'm sitting there watching these fucking talking heads going, I don't want you yelling at me after a long day of work, but a documentary where you present
or
information,
or
right?
Joe Rogan.
In a conversational
You're stressed out
tone.
after work.
I don't want you. Joe doesn't
You're
yell at
hanging
me.
out with Joe Rogan. Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't.
So
he
that,
doesn't-
now, see,
when I
that's
listen to go to
that's
sleep.
helping me. That's helping me understand.
Right. It's all
It's
in.
helping
Think
me
about
understand why people go to him and other sources
every
like that.
time someone ever listened to you on the radio, bro, it's because you're talented at what you do. You've always been conversational. You're non-threatening. You're funny. You know music. And that's how Mike Shue, like I know that listening to you before I ever met you, knowing you as a friend, and now blah blah blah. But if you were a Rush Limbaugh style fucking douche right in my face, or a Rachel Maddow douche right in my I'd be like, he's a fucking cunt. I don't like him. That's why people enjoy. No, seriously, that's why.
No, I'm just remembering all the times I've seen those words on the text line. No, go ahead.
You're a cunt.
Also, I'm laughing because before we started, Isaiah said, "I'm going to try and not swear on the podcast."
I brought it up. Yeah. Josh was telling me about the algorithms on fucking Instagram. I'm like, I ruin every one of these shows, don't I? I'm sorry.
Well, remember when
you swear?
This is Brad Marchand, and you're listening to Breaking the Ice with Josh Dolan. I don't think he would ever let a pizza get out the door before he buried the whole thing, so he likes to eat that kid.